The path to the playoffs was a road that many people could not even imagine the Carolina Panthers walking before the season began. Well, I'm here to announce that we have officially kicked the door down and we have taken the first step on the journey towards getting into the tournament as we take down NFC South rival the Atlanta Falcons in a sweep for the second victory of the year, winning 30-27 in an overtime banger for the ages. And in this video, I'm going to give you all a few awards for some performances that I saw put forth out there on the field for my Carolina Panthers. And of course, we're going to get into all of that right after this.
I'm from the foe, you dig?
Welcome to The Way I See It with Jamario Rashad. This is the Carolina Panthers fan channel. Please do me a favor by hitting the like button and please make sure you subscribe as I am on my road to 3K. Trying to make sure my channel continues to grow as we play out this season and hopefully, thankfully, soon, all the words, get into the playoffs. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the video. Now, although I am ecstatic, I am pumped, I am so freaking excited that my boys were able to pull out this epic victory in overtime over an NFC rival and push our way that much closer towards the playoffs. Before I can get into the people that were responsible or the people that I actually want to celebrate in this victory, you know how I am, and I refuse to let this go without highlighting the people that should have stayed they asses in the locker room. So winning the very first Week 11, you should have stayed your ass in the locker room award, we have defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero. At this point in the season, if I was going to take away Xavier Excel's name earlier in the season, I'm officially done calling defensive coordinator by his name. By this moment forward, I'm simply going to call him Plank. Because you know when you used to watch Ed, Edd and Eddy, and whenever Johnny was on the screen with Plank, Plank was only doing one thing, sitting there with the same dumbass face, just no matter what episode you tuned in, just. And watching Plank is the same thing that I compare and the same feeling that I get when I watch Ejiro Evero's defense go out there, knowing that they are going up against one of the top wide receivers in the league that is averaging more than or close to 15 targets per game in Drake London on the other side of the ball. And he refuses to do anything other than have a dumbass face. The equivalent of that dumbass face, which is not allowing our best cover guy in J.C. Horn to travel with Drake London. Drake London absolutely embarrassed us on that first drive, and had it not been for the injury sustained by Michael Penix, Drake London was on his way to having an outstanding game, and the outcome of this game could have been completely different. But you know what? Plank ass was not willing to do anything to make any adjustments to actually having our best cover guy on their best wide receiver. So as long as he continues to have that dumbass face and run this dumbass defense, I'm going to continue to tell his dumb ass that you should have stayed your ass in the locker room, sir. Congratulations. Dumbass plays, bruh. He was chopping our ass up, bro. He was chopping, and you wasn't doing shit about it, bro. Sitting over there, bruh. Bijan was getting in our, bruh, pause. Bijan was going at us. Doggone Drake was going. Anyway, moving forward, because Ejiro Evero was not the only person that should have stayed their ass in their locker room. We came away from this game with a victory, so I'm not going to dwell on all of the terribleness too far. But there is one other individual performance that this motherfucker here tried his best. I mean his absolute best to mess up everything. As Cat Williams would say, everything. He tried to mess up everything. And the person that tried to mess up everything and receiving the second Week 11, you should have stayed your ass in the locker room award, Chandler Zavala. I don't know why in the hell Dave Canales chose to start this guy over Austin Corbett, who himself is not the best player, but in every way imaginable is better than this Disney adult-looking motherfucker right here. Chandler Zavala not only was whiffing on blocks, he caused us to miss on a pivotal fourth down in the fourth quarter, stepping on Bryce Young's injured foot on his injured leg that has the injured ankle that he had a grade 2 sprain on, that he is warrioring his way through. Chandler Zavala tried his best to be the 12th man wearing an Atlanta Falcons uniform, and he himself, along with other players throughout this game, even other pieces on the offensive line, did everything they could to try to give the game away, but no other culprit is as culpable as Chandler Zavala. So, winning. I'm going to leave it alone because I was about to. Winning his week 11, you should have stayed your ass in the locker room award, Chandler Zavala. But look at this dude. What, bro? He looked like he'll be excited. Oh my God, it's Goofy! Oh my God, take a picture! Take a picture! That's what dude looked like, and that is who is protecting our quarterback, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get that bullshit out of here, bro. Get this guy, get him the fuck out of here, bro. But now that I've got all of that out of the way and we have got the nonsense behind us, now we get to celebrate the players that actually played a part in us getting this victory, in us being on this path to the tournament, in us hopefully going on a run and making it into the playoffs. But there was one player out there that stood above the rest in terms of his pass catching ability as being a young star who continues to improve week after week. And when we got a guy that is dealing the way that QB1 was today, this guy is going to be somebody that always balls out. So winning a week 11 Baller Award, Tetaroa T-Mac McMillan. 8 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Continued to be an absolute staple in this offense. We got to see him actually get in the open field and get a long catch and run, get some of those yak yards that we've so desperately been needing throughout this season, and especially as of late. Tetaroa went out there and he was able to do that. But not only did he highlight his run after the catch ability, he showed that, yes, I'm 6'4", I'm almost 230, I'm bigger than you. When I get this ball, I can just push past you. That's what he did, not only to move the chains a few times, but also to get the ball into the end zone, and also being just being offensively aware and having the wherewithal to be in motion constantly during the scramble drill in the fourth quarter to pick up his second touchdown and putting us ahead and making us just as close, just that much closer to getting the victory at the end of the game. So for that reason, winning the very first Week 11 Baller Award, Tetaroa T-Mac McMillan. You better hoop, boy. Dunking on them boys, man. But T-Mac is the guy that we all have come to expect to have these type of performances. When he goes up to this level, we applaud it. We give him as many pats on the back as we feel as he deserves. But being who he is, we know that he has this in the bag because he showed it before. Somebody else, or the next player that I'm about to talk about, is a player that we have been wanting to highlight his pass catching ability, to show us what you got, show us why you were drafted as high as you were. And in this game in particular, he was able to do exactly that. So winning the second Week 11 Baller Award, we got Xavier Excel Leggett. 4 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. What he was able to do immediately coming out of halftime, getting into the end zone, but not only getting into the end zone, doing what many Carolina Panthers fans have been beating on the table, yelling and screaming for this offense to display, and that is throw the ball down the field, make some explosive plays, let's see some deep balls. That is exactly what Xavier Legette was supposed to come into the Carolina Panthers franchise and provide to us since he walked through those doors last year. And in this game, that's exactly what we were able to highlight him in doing with a spectacular nearly 40-yard grab down the field, an absolute dime from Bryce Young, and that was the catalyst to this offense getting back on track in the second half and being able to actually push our way back into this game and actually come away with the victory. But had it not been for Xavier Legette, not only with that long catch, but also displaying yak yards, just like I highlighted for Teteroa McMillan. He had a big play and also having the ability to move the chains and keeping the offense on the field in pivotal moments during the fourth quarter and overtime as well. So for all of those reasons, a Week 11 Baller Award winner, Xavier Excel Legette. We got to see Dollar Bill and everything. You know he done loosened up. He ain't even been on Dollar Bill the last couple of times he scored. He was on business. He expected to do it this time. I'm proud of that boy, man. But now we get to the coup de grace, the grand finale, the reason most of you all click this video, and probably the guy that is highlighted the most in the thumbnail. So the reason why you came to actually hear me speak, and we are going to highlight the man who had an absolute ballerific game for the ages, actually setting the single game record for the most passing yards in Carolina Panthers history in one game, of course, that being QB1 Bryce Young, winning the third and final Baller Award. Oh my God. There was some dipshit that made a video last week, came up here, and he said that he, bit my tongue because that's exactly what I should have. It came up here and said that he was done with Bryce Young. That dipshit in question was none other than yours truly, and I want to call myself out for my misbehavior last week and my blasphemy towards BY9, because in this game he absolutely showed out. 31 for 45 to the tune of 448 yards, and count them up, uno, dos, tres, 3 touchdowns, absolutely showing why the Carolina Panthers cannot give up on him, why we have so much invested in him, why Dan Morgan went out there and drafted a second wide receiver in the first round to complement Bryce Young, because we believe that with the weapons around him and with the complementary talent when in place, Bryce Young is able to put together games like this, and this was a treat to watch for all of Carolina Panthers Nation. Bryce Young was absolutely willing and dealing on a bum ankle. This was the most warrior performance that many people, including myself, I'm sure, have ever seen. Bryce Young, only weeks removed from a grade 2 high ankle sprain, after coming back from that after just one game, playing a less than stellar performance, because I'm not gonna go back in time, but just 2 weeks removed from that, after being knocked out of the game and nearly being knocked out of the game several other times because of his offensive line's inability to be able to keep him upright, Bryce Young continued to be able to stand up straight, stand in the pocket, not get antsy, not be on the tippy toes, not get twinkle toes. He stood in there. He wasn't gun shy. He looked his receivers. He looked off safeties. He looked off the coverage, and he stared his receivers down, and he put it in their chest time after time after time. And in doing so, he had the best offensive performance in terms of passing yards in Carolina Panthers franchise history. This being just a week after what was possibly and considerably one of Bryce Young's worst performances of his career. This just shows the resilience that he has, the ability and the level that he is actually able to reach when he is at his full potential. He is an absolute point guard. He is somebody that is going to be able to distribute to any and everybody that has the ability to get open. Even on the broadcast, they highlighted that he got the ball to either 6 or 7 guys on the opening drive just to get that first touchdown, just to let you know he does not have he does not have tunnel vision towards Teteroa. He does not have tunnel vision towards Excel, or whether it be anybody somebody else or Jalen Coker. He is going to get the ball to whomever the play allows to be open, and that is something that he did today to the highest extent and on the highest level that I've ever seen him perform at. So for all of those reasons, winning the third and final Week 11 Baller Award, Bryce Young, my guy. I ain't got my sound on this clip, so I'm going to just clap it up for my guy myself. Shout out to BY9, man. But what do you all think about this week's award? One quick honorable mention. I want to give a shout out to Jalen Coker for being back to being reliable. Somebody that had been injured at the beginning of the season and has been slowly reasserting himself back into the offense after the offense has been tailor-made or tailored to go to other places with his absence early in the season. He in this game had, 4 catches for 50. He had 4 catches for 52 yards, something that this Carolina Panthers offense expected early in the season. We didn't expect to have to not be able to have the trio of Coker, XL, and T-Mac, but so it was good to actually see what all of that can be when it comes to fruition. But now that we're done, I'm not going to get into all that. What do you all think about, so shout out to Jalen Coker. Shout out to Jalen Coker is what I'm trying to say. What do you all think about this week's awards? Do you all think that there's somebody else that should have been highlighted, either negatively, positively, whatever you all think? Leave your comments down in the comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you then. But until next time, I am Jamario Rashad. This is the way I see it, and I'm out. Peace.